The engines of the Cora Railway are one of the most hard-working engines in England. They are the power behind the main line, branches, and industries all around them. This is the Cora Railway. The Cora Railway was planning an expansion that resulted in lots of work being placed on the engines. However, the engines were struggling to cope with the many demands being placed upon them. As the amount of work increased, the increase in arguments became. One particular evening, the engines were discussing the recent events.
The amount of goods trains I have to pull are too much. We're never usually this busy.
You're right, Charles. This man seems to be working us harder than ever, and I'm tired of it. What is with him overworking us anyway?
The controller is just getting the railway expanded. We need to work our hardest for the benefit of the railway.
Yeah, everyone's excited for the expansion. I've heard some new engines are arriving.
Everyone except for our controller. He only seems to want to make money off of our suffering. I feel like my axles are gonna crack.
Charles, while I do admit that the recent workload is tiresome, complaining won't help the situation get better now, will it?
You have a point. I suppose teamwork is the better option.
Yeah, besides, don't forget about the new engines coming. I can't wait to meet them.
Hello, everyone.
Ah, sir, where did you come from?
I've been standing here for 5 minutes. Anyways, I appreciate all of your efforts. They've helped the expansion process quite a lot. I recommend you all get some sleep, though. The railway inspector will be visiting the railway tomorrow. I want you all to be on your best and most useful behavior.
Yes,
sir.
Right. Good night, everyone.
The engines soon went to sleep. The next day, the engines were busier than ever. The railway inspector arrived rather early, and he travelled all over the island, inspecting the engines, stations, and railway lines. As the evening rolled in, the inspector climbed off Nate's train at South Hall, where the controller was waiting for him. He had a few words to exchange with him. Their conversation about the inspector's observation hit off well, but soon that would change.
Alright, Mr. Controller, here's the verdict. Your railway is up to code in terms of railway operating conditions. However, I noticed the lack of efficiency when it comes to your assets, aka your engines. The best course of action would be to remove the ones that cannot handle the heavy workload. I've jotted down the best candidates that should retire from the railway.
Oh, I see. Would you mind telling me which ones?
Well, for starters...
Nate, who was still at the platform overhearing the controller and the inspector, interrupted their conversation. He wanted to talk to the inspector himself.
All of the engines are hard workers and really useful. Why should they be sent away? Sir, you won't let that happen, will you?
I'm sorry, Nate, but what the inspector says needs to be taken into consideration. Now please leave. Me and the inspector have to speak privately.
Indeed, there are railway regulations that need to be abided by any private railway company. I'm sorry, Nate, but rules are rules.
Yes, sir.
Nate left the station, feeling angry and sad. His friends meant a lot to him. So what would he do if some of them left? That night at the sheds, Nate was telling the other engines about what happened earlier.
That's not like the controller at all. He would never do such a thing.
Marcus, you don't understand. He's going to get rid of some of his own engines.
Are you sure?
Yes, I was there.
Nate, I know the controller. He would never plot to get rid of us. I think he meant he was going to move us somewhere else.
No, he is actually going to get rid of some of his own engines.
Thank you, Nate, for doing the talking for me.
A long silence followed. No one said a word. They all looked at the controller. Eventually, Charles broke the silence.
Sir, is what Nate's saying true?
I'm afraid so. I had a meeting with the railway inspector, and according to him, he deems some of my engines currently operating unable to handle the heavy workload to the point they can't be in service here. I'm afraid I'm going to have to get rid of some of you. I am so sorry about this, but there is nothing I can do.
Who is being taken away?
The railway inspector gave me the list of engines that he deemed surplus to requirement, and
We get it. Just get to the point.
The longer you procrastinate, the longer we get bored.
I will call on who is leaving. Atlas, Marcus, Isaac. I am afraid you three will have to be pulled off the roster.
I knew I'd be one of them. I felt too old to work here anyways. Best I move on to a new railway.
I also have to be withdrawn?
I'm afraid so.
Oh well. It was fun while it lasted.
Not quite.
Suddenly, a Furnace Railway K2 pulled in, and a man stepped down from the engine's cab. The engines were surprised.
Seth? It's been ages. I can't believe you're here.
Hey Isaac, how long has it been? 10, maybe 20 years?
Feels like a million.
Isaac, who is this?
This is Seth and his controller, Mr. Jim. Isaac used to work on his railway, the WW&SR, before he was sold to me. I've decided that instead of scrapping Isaac, I just sold him back to where he came from.
My pleasure. Isaac, right?
Yes, sir.
It's been great working with you, Isaac.
Same to you, sir.
Goodbye, Isaac. Hope to see you soon.
I'm pretty sure you will. Don't worry.
Ready to go, little brother?
I'm older than you.
Yeah, but I'm slightly bigger.
In your ego, maybe. So long, everyone. I'll always remember each and every one of you.
If any of your engines ever need a home in the future, you know who to call for preservation. See you guys later.
Indeed I will. We will all miss you, Isaac.
Me too, sir. I hope to see you all in future, and you're always free to visit.
The next morning, Atlas and Marcus were getting ready to leave for their old companies on the LNWR and Midland Railways.
It was fun working with you all.
Certainly, like with Isaac, we will do our best to try to visit sometime.
Goodbye, Marcus. Goodbye, Atlas.
Safe travels, you two.
Don't forget to write.
Both engines whistled for the final time before leaving the Cora Railway. And with that, this concludes our tales on the Cora Railway. Psych! We're not done yet, as Season 2 is on its way, so stay tuned for the next episode of Cora Railway Tales.